picture, there are multiple agents that could be hazardous. One physical agent is dust that arises from agricultural activities such as harvesting, grain crushing, and tending to livestock. In this case, the pathway is air and the route is inhalation. Another hazardous agent that farmers are exposed to is pesticides. This chemical agent is commonly used in agriculture to prevent the destruction of their crops by insects. Pesticides can be harmful to farmers by dermal contact due to the toxic ingredients such as 2,4-D. In addition, pesticides are capable of leaching into the ground and contaminating groundwater, which as a result harms people that ingest it.
Ultimately, environmental public health works to identify this issue by evaluating both the potential risk of exposure to dust and pesticides. When health risks are encountered, there are multiple ways in which they can be avoided or limited. One way is that farmers are encouraged to wear proper protection such as masks to cover the nose and eyewear to avoid eye irritation. In regards to pesticides, they should only be used if approved by the EPA. The recent increase in the use of chemicals has led to more resistant pests, and switching to an organic way of farming is recommended. When water is contaminated as a result of pesticides leaking into it, reporting this information to a nearby resident is a big part of environmental public health's way of ensuring everybody's safety.
In this picture, there are multiple agents that could be hazardous to public health. One physical agent would be flies that are in contact with trash. The pathway here is ingestion because the flies could land on food and contaminate it, potentially causing disease. Exposure to chemical agents such as methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide can affect health through an inhalation pathway. Trash can also lead to the accumulation of liquid known as leachate. When trash overflows and sits for a long period of time, there is an increased probability of leachate contaminating drinking water and soil, affecting health through an ingestion pathway.
Environmental health sciences applies to this picture because it works to identify and evaluate hazardous risks of overflowing trash. If any possible health risks are found, exposure can be limited in a few different ways. Enforcing consistent trash collection is one way to prevent overflowing of trash. Also, enforcing littering laws is important to prevent hazardous trash from going into storm drains, waterways, etc. Exposure can also be limited by properly sorting trash into recyclables, making sure recyclable items are free of grease, food, and oils, and properly disposing of glass to prevent physical harms to those exposed to it.
In this picture, there are multiple agents that could be hazardous to public health. There is a direct contact of bacteria for people in society when it comes to bacteria on the hand dryer from constant touching of users. If the user has bacteria on their hands by direct contact and then goes to eat a meal, this could result in them also ingesting the bacteria. Many of the hand dryers push out high jet air to dry the hands. Hands that are not fully cleansed contain bacteria that can then be blown back into the air via the air dryer, which results in inhalation of bacterial particles. Environmental health sciences applies to this picture because there is a controversy over the risks and the benefits of using hand dryers in the environment. On the one hand, as shown in the pictures, there are hand dryers that are using filters like HEPA filters to clean the air particles before they are released in the jet air bursts. They are fast and sustainable to the environment by reducing the waste of paper towels. However, not all hand dryers have air filters. Adding a bacterial filter can limit exposure by cleaning the air that comes in and out of the air dryer, which can then decrease the risk of exposure to bacterial contaminations. This allows for a healthier interaction with the air dryer.